evening, peasants! So, let's talk very briefly. Modern body armor in historical times. How effective would it be, and would it be enough to save your life? So, modern body armor is particularly hard plates, like trauma plates and ballistic plates and that sort of thing, are specifically made to stop very high velocity projectiles, i.e., bullets, and very fast bullets at that. Um, Somewhere around 3,000 tops feet a second is about their breaking point, depending on the type of bullet and the weight and so on and so forth. But we have to remember, to get through this, we need to overcome that tension, for lack of a better word, that the steel has. And in order to do that, we have to move something fast enough to where it cannot absorb and react and deform to that. We need to get through it before, it can deform or react. So, how effective would this kind of armor be in a medieval or historical situation? Would it be of any use to you at all? Um, yes and no. Yes, on the plus side, like we mentioned a second ago, it would be excellent at stopping missiles and stuff like that, i.e., bows. Even historical body armor at the time, or plate mail, I should say, or something of that nature. Even they could stop, war bows and that kind of thing. If you don't believe me, check out Lindy Beige. He's got a video on that. It's very interesting. Good watch. Anyways, but modern steel armor is particularly well made and particularly strong as opposed to its historic counterpart. So, that being said, you would probably have the greatest piece of armor on the block, no doubt. There's no way in heck a sword could get through this. There's no way on earth a mace, honestly, could, yes, the transfer of energy would be quite painful, um, and you may or may suffer some kind of degree of trauma, but nothing that a man can wield can get through a solid steel plate like this. And we're talking specifically steel plates, not ceramic plates or soft body armor plates, which we will get to in a second. So, but steel plates, if you had this, you would have the adamantium shield. You would be the grand champion, so to say, of the time. However, it's simply limited to its size. This is it, and yes, this one's full of holes because science. So, but I mean, for what we're talking about here in the historical time, that's it. That's not good enough. That's not good enough at all. Armor is meant to cover, lots of vital areas, not simply just the very precious ones. And you need that full body protection to actually defend yourself about this kind of thing, because if you have weak points, there's enough time, people will find those weak points. It's not like a gunfight that might be over very rapidly. You know, a duel or a fight or whatever, yes, it'll be quick, but by no means will it be, in seconds, unless of course your opponent's very good or whatever, recognizes that you don't have body armor anywhere else on your body and decides to go for your throat or something, then that would be an issue. So yes, this would be an excellent material to protect yourself with, but the feasibility of covering your entire self with it is very slim. And if you were strong enough to do that, then you would probably be a god in their eyes anyway. On the note of soft body armor at the time, there are certainly weapons at the time, particularly kinetic weapons like maces of the sort, that would literally render your Kevlar vest useless. So, that being said, not a good idea. It might stop bows and arrows to a degree. It really kind of depends, I guess. Usually the more pointy things have a better way of defeating Kevlar. So, a very sharp small dagger or something like that, a very thin one, something of that nature. Again, soft body armor would be less than ideal, let's put it that way. Ceramic body armor, again, same deal for comparable amount of weight. To get the equivalent amount of protection, your ceramic must be thicker than this, and thus when you make it thicker, it becomes about the same weight as the trauma plate. And now the downside is it's not reusable. So yes, you could get better ballistic protection with this in modern times, but historically speaking, one crack with a mace and it'd be useless. It'd be trashed. So just something to take note of that. And as many of us know, if we flip side the coin and said, okay, what if we took historical armor and brought it into the modern time? Again, it's simply down to steel manufacturing processes and the quality of the steel and so on and so forth at the time. This steel is much, 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 much more superior in every way than what they had back then. That being said, like, you could not scratch this. Again, one point to note out, this has a higher hardness than most knives and that sort of thing would, and especially the ones in the days of old. It's literally, I mean, if you could cover yourself in this in some way, you would be a god. That being said, if you were to take historical armor and mail and gambesons and so on and bring it into this time, yes, you'd have a great, a stab resistant vest or that kind of, a physical barrier, so to say, but as many of us know, guns kind of defeated that. So, but yes, are knights coming back because we're getting armor? Maybe. Again, maybe. But, like I mentioned, the downfall to this kind of armor is simply the limited amount of protection you can get from it. So that's just a fun little video. I hope you guys found it interesting, and if any of you like that kind of thing, let me know in the comments. I can do more of that, and so on and so forth. Always fun to talk about the what ifs. Anyways, have a good night.